It's like,
Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome. We're officially live. Welcome to this Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight interview. I'm here with Aemi. And hi, we're so excited. We were talking a little bit before going live and felt like the interview had already kind of kicked off. So I was like, we've got to hit go live. We've got to get this live streaming. We're going to be talking about how focusing on simplicity and playfulness and joy has really played a big role in Aemi kind of, developing your creative practice over the last few months. I'm really excited to get into this. Learning synthesis, working with modular, but more than that too, just creativity in general. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Welcome to everyone who's tuning in live. It's great to see you all here. So can you start us off, Aemi, just with a little intro to who you are and maybe what you like to do?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Aemi. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I'm currently in Milwaukee, but I've lived in a few different places. And right now I'm just kind of exploring what that all means to me. I've kind of had a whole shift in narrative, especially after taking learning sound, or I'm still taking learning sound and synthesis. So yeah, I'm like right now I'm working on this my background. I guess this will explain a little. My formal background is in visual arts, so there's like a lot of like right now I'm making these little doves and pigeons because I want to make a little choir.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out, but it's just
I love that.
Just playing around.
So as a background, there's so many people in this community who have backgrounds in, installation art, visual art, video art, all of these things. And I just think that's fascinating. I'm curious, why modular? Like, why were you like, ooh, I want to learn sound design, synthesis, modular?
Okay, well, I feel like it's kind of a hybrid of things. When I was really young, I wanted to be an engineer. I just thought machines were really cool, but I was really bad at math, and they were just like, you can't do this. And so, I hope schools are different now, but, when I was in school, they were just very much like, oh, you're 5 and you want to be an engineer, well, you're not good at math. So anyway, so I kind of like threw that out the window, but I still kept that, I still was really attracted to a lot of that. And then with music, I also was really interested in music when I was younger, and I would kind of play around a little bit on my own on the side, but never really like out in the public eye, or I didn't really kind of explore that too much beyond that. And so I'm trying to remember when I first saw like a modular synthesizer. I can't even remember. I just feel like I just remember when I did see something like that, I was just like, what the heck is that? That looks so cool. Like, it just looks really wild. And like,
yeah,
it made me think of the whole, like, being like, in my mind, that's what being an engineer is, like someone who's just like, and like plugging things in, and like, that meme with all the calculations is me just being like, what? How the heck? Like, oh my God.
I love that.
Yeah. So, but actually, when I saw you had I don't know how I think I found you like a Instagram like algorithm or something like that, but it was like, oh, you were kind of explaining how it was very simple, and like you are holding it was like a free little workshop or something. It was just like one call, and I went on that, and that just like blew my mind. It blew my mind out of the water. I was like, wait, what? This is something I don't know why. It was just broken down in such a like fundamental form. And then there were all these trolls that were like in the chat box, and I was like, man, not for like, screw those guys. This is the one.
Okay, wait, I'm going to interrupt. I don't typically like interrupting people, but I want to interrupt you today because the coincidence of what you're talking about is hilarious. For anyone who's watching who wants to know what Aemi's talking about, I'm actually running a workshop later today.
Oh, okay.
And it's a little bit different than the one you came to, I think, because I don't exactly remember which one you were at, but it's the same kind of concepts, introduction to just the basics of like how to get started with modular. So if anyone's curious about that, it's so funny you're mentioning it. I'm running it later today. I'm also running it 2 times tomorrow. I'm really trying to do it as many times as possible to help people who have, schedules and lives and jobs and things join. So send me a DM if you're watching this. go ahead and send me a DM, just with like the word workshop or something, and I'll get you the link. Okay. Sorry. Back over to
No,
you,
you're good.
Ami.
I
I'm
mean,
glad that that was a helpful
yeah, I
introduction for
highly
you.
recommend it for anyone who's interested. I mean, it really was like it felt like a locking, like a lock being unlocked, like a key. I was like, oh, this is the key, like even just that felt like super expansive and like I don't know. It made me question a lot of previous definitions I had on how things work and my ability to learn things. And
Mm.
I don't know, I just cycled through a lot of things.
This is so important to know. Like the little 5-year-old kid, or I don't know if you were 5-year-old or in grade 5, but the little
Mm.
kid who's being told, like, you can't do this because you're not good enough at math or you're not.
Mm.
I just, I'm so sorry that happened, but I'm also
Oh,
so happy that you were like coming back through around, like coming
yeah.
back around to it. We all have different versions of that story, whether it's like someone's told, oh, you'll never make it in music, or you're not smart enough for this, or you're not good with computers. And I
Mm.
think, sometimes we do genuinely struggle with these things, but does that mean we're not capable of using them? Of course not, right? It just
Oh,
takes,
yeah.
in my experience, it just takes like a good teacher and good structure and some practice and some patience. But like, if you're listening to this conversation and you've been told or you felt like I'm not smart enough, I'm not techie enough, I'm not whatever, I really want to encourage you to just think again about that, because if you do want to make music or play synths, like, you are capable.
Oh,
Full
100%.
stop. And I have thousands of students who are free. Okay. And Ami, you're one of them.
Oh, dang. Well, and also I think it's, redefining what like learning is for you, what learning well means, how, I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of things that defined what capable was even, like I what I've started researching a lot more, electronic musicians or even just other avant-garde musicians that were kind of outside of my knowledge, since taking your course. And I just was like, I was so inspired by so many of these artists that were just not having it. Like they were not letting anybody define what they felt was appropriate, what was successful, what
Hmm.
was the right thing to do, the right decisions to make, like anything in terms of how to approach this machine, even, or any type of instrument, and it was really, it was just like really inspiring. And it also made me feel like, dang, I gotta have like a little more, I gotta, you know, have more balls when I step into the creativity seat, like I don't want to be like timidly like hiding
Right.
behind, this, like making all my stuff. And it felt so like in a prison, like wanting to create, wanting to share, wanting to connect, and like
Yeah.
have this exchange and not being able to do that with anyone. It's like it feels really isolating.
Totally. I can
But
totally understand that. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. I think, what I always talk about, and I really mean deeply, is that the more that you can just be yourself and like go for it and follow the sounds you love and do the things that you're interested in, the better your life will be and your art will be too. And it's
Yes.
just like something that I find so inspiring about especially early electronic musicians,
Mm.
who are like experimenting with these things at the dawn of their invention. Like,
Yeah.
these things were being invented and they were like, what is this? How does it make music? Does it make music? Like, what way does it work? They were just so like open about what it could
Yes.
be. And there was something so liberating about that for me, as like a big permission slip to just be yourself.
Yes.
Um, Really quickly on here, I just saw some people in the chat asking about the workshop. So I'm going to put that on. That's the place to go. soundandsynthesis.com/workshop. You can register for the workshop. It's free. It's happening this afternoon. I'm doing it twice tomorrow. Get yourself signed up if you want to come.
Do
Um,
it. Seriously, like you lose nothing. You gain everything. You stand to gain everything.
so can we talk a little bit about your experience learning modular? So like, we know kind of what led you to get to be so curious to jump in, then you
Mhm.
did jump in. What were some of the things that, were surprising along the way or helpful along the way? as you
Oh
were
man.
getting deeper into learning synthesis and sound design?
Yeah, so I tend to get really overwhelmed with information really fast. And it's been interesting because one of the beautiful things about the course is there's just so much content. And I was like, okay, how am I gonna, I wanted to start from the beginning, but I also was like, I, I, I don't want to say I get impatient, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't keep all this. And then I want to go and like try and do things, but I'm not there yet or
Right.
whatever, and, I kind of had this moment where I was like, I just need to like do both. Like, I'm going to go
Yeah.
through the course and then I'm going to go and like futz around and
Yeah.
VCV track. And if I don't know what this is, that's fine. I'm just going to like play around with it. And then when I get to the part in the course where it spoke about certain modules or how certain things work together, it was this really kind of special, beautiful, like, ooh, now I'm like I got it, I get it. It's like that unlocking feeling again, like, something of understanding. And so I felt like that was really helpful. And I I also found that it was really helpful to define like my own like successes in within the course, because I think initially when I started the course, I felt like in my mind there was this kind of unspoken like curriculum that I was like, okay, I have to. I mean, there's a curriculum in there, but I was like, okay, I need to watch this many videos, and then I have to do this, and then I have to go through the da
Right.
da da da. And that was like starting to get me overwhelmed, and it made me like afraid that I was going to fail or something because I wasn't going to remember something, or I couldn't, remember the just like anything, like the terms, or if I went to explore oh my god, I can't even handle hardware right now. I'm like literally just trying to understand, still like just the electricity, but yeah, I kind of had to I forgot where I was going with this. I think it was
Kind of setting up your own definition of like success milestones. So like there
yeah.
was the perceived curriculum, but you, by the sounds of things, you took it in your own time and
Yeah.
you balanced the studying with also just like, let me play, let me be
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
intuitive. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I had there was like another workshop I went to that was completely unrelated, and this woman was talking, or was it a workshop or a podcast? I don't know. It was something, but she had mentioned talking about like aiming or the value of reaching for low-hanging fruit.
Mm.
These successes that are within your reach that aren't like in my mind when I started the course, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to like, do all these things and whatever. And that just seems so far away. The more,
Yeah.
when I started the course, I was like, oh my gosh, like, how am I gonna get there? And so having that integrated into the practice became really, really like crucial,
Right.
and also, I mean, the thing with low-hanging fruit, like the fruit is just as good, it's just like in a different part of the tree. And, it's like it becomes about the climb, right? And you want the climb to be like really fun
I
and
love
enjoyable.
that. I
you
love
know?
that. I love that. So I want to reiterate a couple things. It's like this idea of defining your own kind of like success milestones. It's just so valuable. Especially when we're in a class environment, but even more so maybe on like social media in general, we see what other people are doing. We see all of these like shiny finished products after years of work. We don't see all of the stuff underneath. And it's so easy to
Mhm.
just be like, okay, well, that is success. Like that's what it looks like to release an album, or that's what it looks like to be a
Yeah.
musician. And we can create this enormous divide between where we are and where they are. And like, is this even necessarily where we all want to go? Like,
You're
probably
right.
not.
Yeah.
But focusing on like, what does it matter? What matters to me? Like, what would make me happy in my
Mhm.
music making? What would be fun to explore?
Yeah.
Like that's a great place to begin. I love someone in the chat says low hanging fruit, top gain momentum. I love it. I love
Yes.
it.
There you go.
Great. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
idea of balancing the study with the play, I think is also really really smart. So you learn some concepts, you learn the techniques, you get in the nitty-gritty, but then you also just let yourself play and be intuitive and like break some things. You're not really going to break anything, especially not in
Mhm.
VCVRAC, right?
Yeah, and that actually had a really profound impact on like my personal life, just in how I move through life, how I create in other mediums or literally anything, my mindset, you know, um kind of not I feel like before I used to be so serious. Everything was so serious. There was a lot of expectation, there was a lot of pressure that I would just put on myself, and I didn't feel comfortable or justified even considering myself a creative or an artist, even though it's something I've been doing for so long, but it just didn't feel like I had earned it or something, because of all these, you know, conditions that I'd kind of placed upon myself. And it was ruining my relationship with creativity. And so, with learning modular, it was just so foreign to me, everything creating in that way, and like I had to really slow down, and because listening is time based, and you can't really like speed through, so I felt like everything about that process, I was like, this is totally like a relationship with like a person. Even, you kind of have to have these conversations, and there's a lot of time involved, and things evolve in this really really beautiful way that I was missing all these years before, so I'm so
Right.
grateful, for this kind of new knowledge or a new way of
I'm
thinking.
so
I'm so
happy.
grateful to you.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. And I'm so happy to have you in the community, and just to be able to
You're
hear
welcome.
these perspectives. Like it's really, really valuable. So, you know, to flip it around to people who are watching, just to kind of quickly recap and summarize a couple things. I love to do this. I can't
Yeah.
not be a teacher.
No,
It's
it's
kind
great.
of it's like number one is the first thing that came up in this chat was like, if you've ever been told you can't do something, like you're not good enough for this, you're not going to be a real musician, you're not smart enough for whatever. If you've ever been told that, or you've ever just told yourself that,
Mhm.
a really big thing is like, is that actually true? I would venture a no. In my
Mhm.
experience, you are technical enough, you are capable. It's just a matter of giving it a go, being patient, being okay with not getting it perfect right away. But like, you can do it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
absolutely can do it. And some of the ways that Ami you identified that helped you were like slowing down, low hanging fruit, keeping it simple, keeping it playful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because, we think of play as something that's like very easy and simple, and like, I mean, maybe when you're a kid, but then somehow it gets, maybe lost along the way.
Isn't that interesting? I
And
know.
yeah, and I found that I had to cultivate a really deep sense of compassion for myself in order, like, it's I don't know where this happens, but it's like, when you look at a kid, you totally don't judge that kid for playing. You're like, oh, this is appropriate behavior for a child. And then, when you look at an adult, there's this very aggressive, I mean, I'm not saying everybody's aggressive, but we have a kind of different
Right.
standard, I guess, and I felt like I kind of internalized a lot of that, and I was like, okay, well, what if I have a kid. So I was like, well, what if I looked at myself and the things that I'm doing in this experience as if I was looking at my kid playing, like, would I feel that way, judging him? He was like
Yeah.
exploring something.
I love that.
Um, but yeah, so
I
I mean,
love
that's
that.
just what that made me
I
think
think
of,
that's
I
such a
guess.
valuable perspective to have. Like, would you be like, "Oh my god, you're only using one oscillator?"
Yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
so basic. Like, no, you
How
wouldn't.
dare you?
You'd be like, "Wow, look at all the things you're doing with that oscillator. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Keep going." Right? I love that. I
Yes,
think that's
yeah.
such a good perspective.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so I want to say, I'm gonna let people know here. Workshop. If you want to come to a free workshop this afternoon, go to this link, go to the link in my bio, send me a DM, whatever your preferred method of communication is. I'll help you get the link. The one this afternoon kicks off in just a couple of hours, and then I'm running 2 of them tomorrow. They are free introductory workshops. I'm going to walk through the 4 major steps that I think are the best things to focus on in order to get started with modular synths. You can come even if you're a complete beginner. You don't need any gear. You don't need a music background. That's kind of the whole point of the workshop, is that I'll help you get started. We'll do some exercises together. We'll have an open Q&A. And I'll also tell you a little bit about how you can continue to work deeper with me if you want to inside of learning sound and synthesis, which we've also been talking about, of course.
So valuable. It's really like one of the most valuable things I've ever invested in, like hands down, 100%.
I'm very happy to hear that. Yes, you can. Someone says we just DM. You can DM me and say workshop. I want to come to the workshop, or any. Yes, send me a DM. I got you. Okay. And if you want to just check out Learning Sound and Synthesis directly, this is the place to go. soundandsynthesis.com/waitlist. We are kicking off the spring cohort very soon. Very soon. I'll just say that. So, Aemi, I want to go back over to you. What are you up to now? What are you looking forward to? Like, do you have any creative things in the works, or what do you want to share?
Yeah. Well, I just put together a little like mini exploring album like last week, because I was like, I'm going to do this before I had this interview. That was like my goal.
Oh, amazing.
So I did that, and I was just like, we're just going to do this, and we did it. And so there's that. But now that I'm on module 6, because see, I'm not even done, guys. There's literally that much content in there. I'm like, oh my God, I have all these ideas. So I'm going to be exploring a lot with just playing around with different compositions. But I also have this choir of doves, pigeons that I'm kind of trying to work on. And yeah, I mean, nothing like solid,
Is the album that you said, the mini album you made, is that up on your Bandcamp?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me share the link with people. Is it 5 Imperfect Shells?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to share the link with people here in the chat if you want to check this out. Do you want to play a little bit of it, or is that that too much? It's okay if that's too much.
I mean, it's if you want. It's like, I've never really. So if you compare it to the first music or the first album I put on there, so I did other random stuff before with like a bag and like some sticks and stuff, but I don't have that anywhere. And then this one, I also didn't know anything about electronic, like it's all connected. There's a whole string, but the first one, if you compare the two, they sound a little different. So it's definitely very new for me. Like
people are saying play it. People in the chat, okay. The people want to hear your music. Okay. All right. Are you comfortable? But it's
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That's fine.
Let's just do it. Okay, hang on. I've got to get over to the right place. So, do you have a preferred piece of a track? Probably won't listen to a whole one, but a little section of one.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Maybe Wind, Sand, Star, or Shell 3. I don't know. Just not.
Yeah. Okay, let's do Wind, Sand, Stars.
Okay.
I love the title.
It's from a book from the guy who wrote The Little Prince.
I love The Little Prince. Okay.
You have to read this book. It's my Bible.
Okay, I will. All right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and push play. And we're going to listen to a couple minutes. Here we go.
Yet we have all known flights when of a sudden each looks up. It has seemed to us that we have crossed the border of the world of reality, when only a couple of hours before we felt ourselves more distant from it than we should feel if we were in India. When there has come a premonition of an incursion into a forbidden world, whence it was going to be infinitely difficult to return.
It's very kind of you to
I'm
play
gonna
that
do
much of
I'm gonna do the
it.
worst thing ever, and I'm gonna pause it. But what I'm gonna do is put this link in the chat for people. That was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I had actually I'd listened to the first couple tracks when you sent it, but I hadn't listened to that one, so that was a first time listen for me.
Oh,
Here, everyone, go ahead and check that out. Listen to it in your own time. People are saying it's beautiful, all kinds of lovely
oh, thank
comments.
you. That was so
The door
kind.
is opening, all kinds of nice things. Yeah, beautiful. Keep
Thank you.
doing that. Keep making music. If you want.
Oh, okay. Oh, I do. There will be more.
Awesome. I love it. So I love to wrap up these interviews just by passing back over to you one more time. Is there any final things you want to say? Any parting words, anything like that as we're wrapping up?
I mean, I guess I would just say the biggest lesson or practice that I have right now and anything is being kind to yourself. Like for me, being kind to myself has been like the biggest flex. It's just like that is literally what will get you through everything. Look at everything as if it's some beautiful treasure you found on the ground. You don't judge it. You don't judge a pebble. It's like, oh, cool, I found this. I don't know, it's just a pebble, but it by itself brought you something really lovely. Why are you expecting more from yourself?
So good. I love that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think that's so meaningful. Be kind to yourselves, especially creative people, humans in general, but creative people, we can be so hard on ourselves, right? So I think a lot of people in this community will have a big moment of like, I can relate. So yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your music. Thank you for sharing your story. I, for one, will be keeping close tabs on what's coming next. So please, keep us posted. For everyone who joined live, thank you for being here. Yeah, Lou Twixberg says, do it and find yourself. Yes, I love that. That's so good. Come hang out this afternoon or tomorrow if you want to hang out and take a free workshop on synthesizers and getting started with modular synths. The link is in my bio or soundandsynthesis.com/workshop. And I'll see you all out there. I'll see you at the next Spotlight interview.
Yay.
Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Bye for now.